Legends of Runeterra is in open beta now, and quickly becoming one of the most popular games on YouTube and Twitch. If you're not familiar, this is Riot Games' leap into the collectible card game world, and that world is already pretty big. The market has plenty of card games: Hearthstone, Shadowverse, Magic the Gathering, Duel Links, Tekken, and more. So with everything else already competing for your attention, is Legends of Runeterra worth your time? In my opinion, yes. Not only is it a fun, unique take on the genre, it's also one of the most free-to-play friendly games I've ever experienced. Let's take a look at what makes the gameplay so special. Legends of Runeterra is a mashup of some of your favorite turn-based card games. There are 6 major regions, all pulled from the League of Legends franchise. Each one offers unique champions, followers, and spells. Decks contain 40 cards and are based around a maximum of 2 regions. Followers and champions have keywords that should be familiar to veteran card players, but there's some new ones too. Challenger controls which followers can block yours. Rally gives you another attack round. Runeterra is a turn-based game like I mentioned before. Players increase their mana each turn, giving them more resources to play their followers and spells. This sounds a lot like Hearthstone, but there are key differences. First, players will have opportunities to play cards on all turns, not just their own. Players also pass an attack token each turn, designating which one gets to go on offense. The other player is on defense. The goal is to destroy the enemy nexus. If you want to know more about gameplay, I've got a link in the description for more information. It's no secret that collectible card games can be a big investment of your time and your money. Card packs, structure decks, draft events, and more, it all adds up. Some games pump out cards so quickly that it can be tough for players on a budget to keep up. The ones who invest the most money stay competitive, and the budget players struggle to get their deck ready. And that's only for it to become obsolete in about a month. I'm looking at you, Duel Links. Legends of Runeterra takes a slightly different approach. There are a lot of factors that prevent players from getting too far ahead based on big investments. Sure, Riot still wants to make money. The game wouldn't survive without a profit. But Legends of Runeterra is definitely built to be inviting to new players. Let's take a closer look. First, you cannot spend money to buy card packs in this game. Seriously, check the in-game store and you won't find any. What you will see are wild cards. The name pretty much says it all. You exchange these blank cards for ones of your choosing depending on the rarity. Commons are the cheapest, then rare, epic, and finally champions. Champions are the most expensive at $3 each based on current in-game prices. Compare that to a game like Magic the Gathering, where essential cards can cost upwards of $20. Games with card packs can be even worse in this regard. You need some luck to get what you actually need, so you can end up spending a lot of money to build your deck. Now, I know what you're thinking.
But Stout, what's stopping somebody from buying all of these wild cards, like over and over, and getting an entire set? That's not very free to play.
Cool your jets, hotshot. Legends of Runeterra actually puts a weekly limit on the number of wild cards you can buy, and here's how that breaks down. 6 common cards, 6 rare cards, 3 epic cards, and 3 champion cards. That's it for 1 week, and it's definitely not enough to build a deck. You will have to play the game to build up your collection, which is nice considering so many of the other games I mentioned earlier don't offer that option. This also gives the meta more time to breathe and players more chances to experiment. Legends of Runeterra's system evens the playing field for everyone. Let's go back to champion cards for a minute. These cards are based directly on iconic characters from League of Legends. Naturally, that makes them the most powerful cards in the game. Consider them close to mythic rares in Magic the Gathering. Now you might be thinking that decks would require many champions to be competitive, but that's not quite the case. Legends of Runeterra has a 6 champion limit for decks, so even if you have to buy 6 brand new champions for a deck, it won't cost you more than $20. But what's even better is you may not have to do this at all. The game offers plenty of in-game rewards just from playing. This includes the coveted champion cards. Let's move on to packs. I did mention that you can't buy them with money, but you will get them as rewards for playing the game. but packs always seem to carry that risk of being a bust. I think we've all been there, opening a pack and getting duplicates of cards you just don't need. It feels really bad, right? That's one of the reasons Riot added a faction system to the game. You get to pick a faction after completing the tutorial. That will give you rewards specific to the faction as you play. You can also change your faction at any time without losing your progress. There's also something called Overflow Protection. This simply means you can never acquire more than 3 copies of a single card. That's the maximum you can put in a deck. If you do get a 4th copy, it will give you shards instead. This is a currency that you can use to craft cards, a nice way to ensure nothing is ever wasted. Packs also show you the rarities of cards inside them before you open them. Legends of Runeterra also has a draft mode. If you're not familiar, this game forces you to build a deck based on the cards you pull from random packs. It's pretty addicting, and one of the reasons Hearthstone was so successful when it launched. If you're listening, Gung Ho Teppen totally needs a draft mode. It costs 1 draft token to participate. This actually gets you 2 drafts, and your rewards are based on which one is better. Runeterra's draft is also different because there's no limit on how many games you can lose before you're out. The only restriction is you can't lose twice in a row. This means you can get the maximum rewards on a smaller win rate than other games. I'm going to read your mind again for a second.
Stout, that's bullshit. People are just gonna draft all the time and max rewards. So all they're gonna do is generate, like, all of this stuff that they can no life, because some people have jobs.
Hold up, my friend. Runeterra also puts a cap on drafts. You can only do 3 for rewards each week, and if you finish that, you can keep drafting for practice. The price of admission is free after the first 3 runs. I believe I've made my point about the game being accessible for players on a budget, but one thing I haven't talked about is getting started. The tutorials do a great job of explaining the flow of gameplay, mechanics, and how certain card types synergize, but that's only the beginning. Deck building in Legends of Runeterra can become very complex the deeper you get into the meta. Also keep in mind that the meta is still developing because of how fresh the game is. I say all of that to emphasize that there are a multitude of budget decks that can be crafted on your first or second day playing. I'd hate to leave you without some direction on a deck that you could get your feet wet with. This is a budget deck built by a player named Control. He's got quite a few videos on his channel talking about decks. Control also includes multiple versions of some of his builds, which is fantastic. I can't recommend his channel enough, so there will be a link in the description to send you there. This deck is a mix of Freord and Ionia. You'll notice most of these cards are on the lower end of the cost spectrum. This deck is built to get an early lead and win by the mid game. The longer games go, the more difficult it will be for you to close with a win. Braun is a tank that can spawn Poros when he's leveled up. Zed spawns a shadow of himself every attack, so he's built to dish out damage. The rest of the deck is built around supporting these two and dealing damage with elusive units. Elusive is a stealth mechanic, meaning only other units with elusive status can block them. You've also got some buffs, a few denies to stop enemy spells, and Will of Ionia to recall one of your followers or an enemy you want out of the way. I've had quite a bit of success with this deck playing in ranked. Now granted, I am not super high ranked, but it is a great place to get started. So if you're looking for your entry point to Legends of Runeterra, I would really recommend this deck. Control did a good job putting it together, and I'm going to include a link to this deck code if you want to try it for yourself. All of those aspects make Legends of Runeterra one of the most accessible card games on the market right now. And I know that some games have been around for forever and they can seem really intimidating for new players. That's why I would highly encourage you to check out Legends of Runeterra. It's in open beta on PC and a mobile version is in development right now. Thanks for taking the time to check out this video. I hope it was helpful to you. And if this is the kind of content you enjoy, you can let me know by leaving a like on the video and subscribing so you let me know you want more of it. See you next time.